What's going on, guys? It's Thursday, so you know what that means. Another 5 under-the-radar card picks that I think could be good investments. It's been a crazy couple of days of NBA free agency. Yeah, there were a ton of players who re-upped with their clubs, but also a bunch of players who changed teams. On eBay, cards have just been flying. Guys like Lonzo Ball, Carmelo Anthony, Kemba Walker, DeMar DeRozan, and Russell Westbrook all saw their cards spike as news of their arrival on new teams spread. But there was even some less talked about deals, free agency deals, that also caused card spikes. Take a look at Devontae Graham. His Prism Silver PSA 10, it's up nearly 48% for the week, which is crazy. 60% for the 14 days. Low pop count, not that low, 859, but serious movement, guys, on players that change teams. I think just in general, people love collecting the rookie cards of players that just joined their favorite team. And investors also love it when players get fresh opportunities. Sometimes a change of scenery, new coach, new teammates is all it takes to unlock a player's true potential. Just look at what happened last year with Julius Randle, with Tom Thibodeau and the New York Knicks. Just the right situation, guys. So in today's video, we're going to look at 3 young up-and-comers and 2 Hall of Fame-bound superstars. As always, if you find this information valuable, enjoyable, please hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and drop a comment below and let me know if you're picking up any of these cards or who you got. Who are you picking up right now? Let me know. I'm interested. Let's get into it. Kicking off our picks this week is Oklahoma City Thunder guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So last season, many believed that OKC was holding Alexander back, resting him unnecessarily, restricting his minutes, and they, ultimately shutting him down due to injury. Nevertheless, Alexander ended the season averaging almost 24 points per game, almost 6 assists and 5 rebounds, and he's still widely considered one of the best young players in the league. There was some speculation that the Thunder attempted to actually trade Alexander to the Pistons prior to last month's draft, but to my knowledge, this was never really corroborated, and it could have easily just been the Pistons trying to raise the trade value of their number 1 overall pick. Either way, the Thunder didn't make the trade. They kept their pick at number 6, and they also bought out Kemba Walker. Meanwhile, they gave Alexander a massive $172 million contract extension. OKC over the last couple of years have been stockpiling picks, but they may finally be ready to let these guys play and unleash Alexander. Going into last season, Alexander was actually one of the most hyped young players in the league. I think some of that hype, though, was overblown, as OKC was not really in a position to compete, and inevitably, Alexander's prices would suffer because of this. Last December, his Prism Silver hit a record high of $2,000. And as the market softened for both Alexander and just in general, that price obviously came down a lot. But recent sales of Alexander's Prism Silver PSA 10 have been around $750. Honestly, for me, that price is still a little bit higher than I would like it to be. It's hard to justify that level of investment on someone who may not actually be playing meaningful playoff games for another 3 to 5 years. Maybe even longer if OKC's version of the process doesn't go to plan. Personally, if I'm investing in Shai, I like his select Premier and Concourse level rookies in PSA 10. The pop count on his select Concourse is only 277, and on the Premier level rookie card here in PSA 10, it's only 120. The Concourse had been selling around $110 to the $150 range, while the Premier has been selling closer to, I'm going to say, about $130, $140. There was actually, some sales even going as low as, I'm trying to pull it up here, $129, which I think is a pretty good bargain for that card. For any of these low pop cards, if you're looking, auction is going to be the way to go, as the buy it now prices are considerably higher than recent comps. You may also get lucky at a card show or your local LCS. Either way, if you believe in Shai, this may be a really good time to get in before the hype train rolls back around. Second on our list today is Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls. LaVine is intriguing to me. He broke out this past season as an all-star and is currently playing on Team USA in the Olympics. The man is walking buckets, but people always wondered if he was also a player capable of winning. I think we're going to get that answer this coming season. The Chicago Bulls have been as busy as any other team in the league. Last season, they added All-Star center Nikola Vucevic from the Magic, and this year they have already added Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan to their roster. Those three, along with LaVine, are four legitimate NBA starting level players. It is to be seen how all the pieces will fit together, but there is undoubtedly a newfound level of excitement around the organization that should translate to a rise in card prices for LaVine, especially once the hype of a new season kicks in, come September, October. Much like Julius Randle, who last season saw a huge sudden spike in his cards, Zach LaVine just doesn't have that many rookie cards out there in the market. This makes the balance between supply and demand an interesting one. If the Bulls come out of the gate hot and LaVine is leading the charge, he could see a major spike, and there's just not enough inventory out there to meet it. This is where opportunity may lay. Keep an eye on auctions, especially for Prism and select rookie cards of LaVine. Right now, a lot of money is moving to football, and I think that LaVine will totally be flying under the radar. His 2014 Prism rookie base in PSA 10 has recently been selling around the $250, $260 mark, but if we take a look at 180 days ago, this card was as high as $750 just this past March, around the time that LaVine was getting all this All-Star hype. I also really like the population count on this card. It's currently only at 306. LaVine could be a low-key investment going into this next season with high reward potential. Next on the list is the now former Los Angeles Laker, Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma was recently traded to the Washington Wizards in the deal that brought Russell Westbrook to Los Angeles. Playing in the shadow of LeBron and AD just never worked out for Kuzma. But it should be noted that the year before LeBron arrived in LA, Kuzma averaged nearly 19 points a game on 45.6% shooting, 5.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. At the time, Kuzma was looking like someone with real all-star potential. The Wizards, I think, are a great landing spot for Kuzma, and his position on the team could get even better if Bradley Beal is traded away and Kuzma gets a bigger role. Kuzma will likely also have far more scoring opportunities and a much higher usage rate in DC next season, with or without Beal. He won't be under the same microscope as he was in Los Angeles, which could benefit his player development. When thinking about Kuzma, I think it's fair to also look at other young Los Angeles Laker draft picks of recent years. D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, and Julius Randle all left LA and eventually became All-Stars, while Lonzo Ball flourished in New Orleans and may also be headed to an eventual All-Star appearance himself. I think this change of scenery is really going to help Kuzma discover his true potential. NBA players come into the league so young that a lot of them don't really start to show signs of what they can be for a good 4 to 5 years. Time will tell if Kuzma ends up finding the same success as his aforementioned Laker teammates, but if you're feeling like taking a chance on him, this might be the time during this offseason. Like many players over the past couple of days, Kuzma did see a spike in his cards when the trade was announced. If you're thinking of picking up any of his cards, I would actually consider waiting a few weeks, maybe even months. Let the trade day buzz kind of die down. Keep an eye on auctions, especially for his Prism Silver. While recent sales of this card have gone as high as $250, there were some sales as low as $57 just a few months ago. Although I think his actual value probably is closer to around this $150 mark. Also guys, if you're interested in learning more about the Market Mover software that I'm using in my videos, I'll post a link in the description and include a promo code for 20% off. I really think Market Movers is the best sports card data tool out there. It allows me to make smarter investing decisions and allows me to chart tens of thousands of cards, plus my own collections, and so much more. Check it out. Even if it's just for a month, I think you won't be disappointed. Staying in the NBA, our next pick of the week is Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets, honestly, were kind of a bit of a disaster this season, and we really never got to see what the team was capable of when at full strength. A lot of questions surrounded KD coming off of a ruptured Achilles that kept him out for an entire season. People speculated what would Durant look like on the court and if he could still be the megastar that he was prior to the injury, but it was basically apparent from day one that Durant had not lost a step. While he did miss some time throughout the year for numerous reasons, KD ultimately ended the year healthy and is even playing on Team USA right now as we speak, possibly headed towards a gold medal. Regardless, Durant's legacy is solidified. He will be a Hall of Famer one day, first ballot, and should remain relevant with the sport for years and decades to come. Next season, the Nets will look to rebound and once again compete for a championship. They will be one of the highlighted teams of the league, getting tons of television time. At this point, I don't think there is question as to who is the leader of that team. If the Nets were the Heat of yesteryear, the big three, Durant would be LeBron, while Kyrie and Harden would be Wade and Bosh, not necessarily in that order. Looking at Durant's tops and tops chrome rookies over the span of 180 days, we see a sharp decline in his prices. His 2007 tops base and PSA 10 is down nearly around 40%, while the factory set, this white bordered version right here, is down about 56%, and the tops chrome is down 65%. These types of numbers are really also common amongst all of his rookie cards. But if we take a look over the past 30 days, we see that his factory set card has kind of pretty much stabilized, while his tops chrome has actually started ticking up. There wasn't enough sales data on the black bordered version to really gain any useful information from that one. Long story short, I believe we have hit the floor on Kevin Durant, and his cards should slowly start ticking back up as the season approaches. Aside from the white border factory set card, most of Durant's rookie cards have a very, very low population in PSA 10. Even the white factory card doesn't have a population that high compared to some younger players like Luka and Zion. The Kevin Durant just has a pop of around 3,000 for one of the best players in the game. That's not a crazy amount. If you've been thinking of getting into the Durant market, I'd wait until shortly after the Olympics are over. If Team USA takes home the gold, Durant maybe wins MVP, his cards should see a little bit of a spike, but those prices should dip down a little as the kind of off-season settles in. Our final pick this week is Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns. Many people thought this was going to be the year, that Chris Paul finally got his ring. It didn't happen, but Paul has re-upped with the Suns, and they're going to run it back. There's no guarantee that Paul will ever get as close to a ring as he did this past season, especially if he finishes his career in Phoenix. Nevertheless, CP3 is inevitably headed to the Hall of Fame and will go down as one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. With Paul, I think there is both short-term and long-term plays to be had. His rookie cards all have a very, very low population report. Both his tops base and tops chrome each have a population of around 250. There really isn't that much more for his PSA 9 either. Combine both cards, PSA 9s and 10s, and you barely get to 1100. Currently, Paul's prices are actually lower than they were 6 months ago, even after his finals run. Paul's cards peaked back in March and then saw another strong run-up during the playoffs, but have dipped following the Suns' elimination, something that's common as short-term investors sell off their inventory in order to move money somewhere else. By all accounts, there wasn't much Chris Paul available at the National either. Many of the most savvy investors are holding on to their CP3. If you're looking to make a move, there may be opportunity to find some deals in auctions or at local shows. Just looking at the data, we seem to have hit a floor on Paul, but I don't expect we will stay there for very long. While a lot of attention is shifting towards the start of football season right now, the NBA season is right behind it, guys. If you ever hoped on getting some CP3 into your collection, now might be the time. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Check out these other videos. Please hit that like button and subscribe to keep up to date with all the content we're putting out. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.